Hello students, welcome to today's session. This is Shweta Roy and your English master teacher at Vedantu. And today we are going to start off with the fourth session on Merchant of Venice, right? So I hope you have watched all the first three sessions that we have conducted, I think a while ago, right? So it had been quite a long time and I know that there is, a break of a kind of break between the sessions of Merchant of Venice. Anyways, let's start off with, because I have been doing this in the other channel, right? So I hope you have followed it there as well. Anyway, so today we are going to start with the fourth session, right? So before starting off with the session, guys, let me ask you a little bit. Let me ask you a few questions. So nowadays, your exams are coming, right? So most of you would be studying very hard. Final, yeah, definitely. So let me ask you, what are the questions? What are the problems that you are facing? Because this year is a different year, right? This year is a pandemic year. So in the times of pandemic, how many of you are facing problems? I guess many of you are facing the problems, right? So we have tried and analyzed the few of problems that you face. So first of all, let me do tell me whether you face these problems, doubts. There are so many doubts that you have, right? Even my mail is filled up, flooded with so many doubts, है ना? So notes again, tests and assignments. Tests and assignments, मतलब test है, but how to give that test? Score बहुत कम आ रहा है. Assignment either है और नहीं है. अगर है तो भी करना नहीं आ रहा है, right? Competitive exams. We want to crack these competitive exams, but we do not know where to find the guidance from. Choice of schedule and choice of language being the other two major issues. Right. So guys, first of all, मुझे आपको कुछ mantras देने हैं to score best marks in exam. That is tip number one. Pay individual attention. Pay equal importance. Give equal importance to each and every subject. Number two, revision plays a very important part. Number three, proper guidance. And guys, ये तीनों में अभी फिलहाल आपको बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स है, राइट और रॉन्ग गाइस, बिकॉज नाउ ऑनलाइन क्लासेस चल रहे हैं, आपको समझ नहीं आ रहा है, टीचर्स बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं ऑफ कोर्स, बट द एंड प्रोडक्ट इज नॉट satisfactory. Why? Because this is a new system, right? So it is hampering both ways. So for that, we have come up with solutions of all the problems. तो जो भी problems है guys, we are there to solve it all, right? तो doubts नहीं रहेंगे because we have class teachers, we have special team, class teachers, master teachers जो specially cater करते हैं आपके doubts के लिए, right? Notes you get after each and every session. Tests हम conduct करते हैं, monthly tests, we have mock tests, right? 200 plus mock tests, जो कि revision मैंने बोला था, तो revision बहुत ज़्यादा important है. As I told you, one of the mantras to score good marks, top marks, right? Assignments after each and every session you have. Competitive exams के लिए भी हम guidance provide करते हैं. And then schedule. आप घर बैठे अपने choice के schedule पे, you can, whatever is your convenience, आप select कर सकते हो कि ठीक है मुझे ये time slot चाहिए. I don't think any of the platform would be providing you with such facility, guys. So this is completely a system designed and suited for your benefit and completely on your demand. ठीक है? And choice of language, again we have Hindi as well as English, right? So no problem in anything, guys. ठीक है? सारे doubts solved plus सारे problems solved plus we have bonus features. Unlimited unlimited live classes, all micro courses, crash courses, एक सब्सक्रिप्शन से इतना कुछ. Think about it, guys. माइक्रो कोर्स क्या है? इंडिविजुअल चैप्टर में आपको फोकस करना है तो आप माइक्रो कोर्स भी अटेंड कर सकते हो, राइट? सो जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल यू आर फेसिंग एनी प्रॉब्लम इन अ पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर, जैसे डायरेक्ट इनडायरेक्ट स्पीच हो गया या क्लॉजेस एंड फ्रेजेस हो गया, तो उसका आप माइक्रो कोर्स अटेंड करो, immediately you will find that your problem is solved. Performance report, of course we conduct test and उसका हम performance report भी आपको देते हैं. with the help of which you can analyze कि ये चीज में हम problem solve, I mean we are facing problem, or we are lagging behind in these areas, so immediately you can improve on that, work on that, right? And of course we have personalized attention जो कि YouTube में possible नहीं होता है, right guys? So all this only in one subscription. Just visit vdnt.in/ytpro and उसमें आपका options आएगा, choose your grade, choose your board, then check out the details. जो भी details मैंने अभी बताए हैं, let's check whether they are correct or not, right? And then जब आपने details देख लिया, you are satisfied, click on get subscription. ठीक है? Subscription आपका जब आप click करोगे 3 दरवाजे खुल जाएंगे आपके. तो दरवाजा नंबर 1 में है 1 month subscription. उसका क्या है प्राइस? 2294 आफ्टर अप्लाइंग द कूपन कोड. ठीक है, अभी कूपन कोड भी मैं आपको दूंगी, डोंट वरी. दरवाजा नंबर 2 में है आपका 3 month सब्सक्रिप्शन, जिसका आफ्टर अप्लाइंग द कूपन कोड यू ओनली हैव टू पे 5949. दरवाजा नंबर 3 है आपके लिए जैकपॉट. उसमें क्या है? 6 month सब्सक्रिप्शन. क्यों है जैकपॉट? बिकॉज दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच आई वुड रिकमेंड यू. क्यों? क्योंकि 6 months तो बहुत ही जरूरी है, राइट? हमारे कोर्स को कंप्लीट करने के लिए एंड इन अ सिस्टमैटिक वे, गाइडेंस अच्छे से प्रोवाइड करने के लिए एंड रिविजन करने के लिए, राइट? सो इन अ टोटल स्ट्रक्चर जो है वो 6 months ड्यूरेशन ही लेगा, राइट? सो दैट इज द मिनिमम, दैट इज व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड अगर आप 1 month बार बार दे रहे हो, right, repeatedly, so that is costing you more than what you are paying for 6 months all at once, right? So that is after applying the coupon code is 9774. तो आप अगर कैलकुलेट करोगे गाइस, ईच क्लास के लिए यू आर नॉट इवन पेइंग मोर देन 8 to 9 रुपीज गाइस पर क्लास. आप अगर अलग से ओनली 2 सब्जेक्ट का भी अलग से कोचिंग लगाते हो, ट्यूशन लगाते हो, उसका आप पता है कितना पे करते हो? मोर देन 2000 3000 फॉर 1 class or 2 classes, right or wrong guys? But here we are giving you only for a 1 month का जो था, all the 6 subjects 2699 में is 2294 after applying the coupon code 1 month के लिए. So 6 months के लिए वो और भी reduced हो रहा है, right? Not even you are paying 2294 for if you are applying for 6 months, वो और कम हो जा रहा है, right guys? And we are giving you all the 6 subjects and all the 6 subjects is वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आपको स्कोर करने के लिए मोर देन 90%. बिकॉज आप अगर 2 सब्जेक्ट में अच्छा मार्क्स लाओगे और बाकी में इफ यू टेक देम लाइटली यू स्कोर लेस, देन योर एंटायर स्कोर बोर्ड ड्रॉप्स डाउन, राइट गाइस? सो दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाई आवर स्टूडेंट्स परफॉर्म अमेजिंगली वेल. So yes, we are bringing this opportunity to आप ही के लिए डिजाइन है guys. So do not forget to visit this link. Use the coupon code SWRPRO. ये coupon code आपको देगा 15% discount. Yes guys, so I'm looking forward to see you very soon in our regular classes. I hope all of you would subscribe very soon. है ना बच्चा? So now we are going to start with the 4th act of Merchant of Venice, right? So this is the session plan. Merchant of Venice को हमने इस तरीके से डिवाइड किया है. 1 to 5 act डील करेगा all the important events which has happened in the 5 acts of the play. ठीक है? 6th and 7th जो session है वो डील करेगा important question answers from the play. And the last session is going to cover explanation of all important lines. तो जो portions एक act से important है, right? वो हम आपको सेशन नंबर 1 में देने वाले हैं. तो बच्चा लोग look at it right now. ठीक है? तो मेजर इवेंट्स क्या होता है एक्ट 4 सीन 1 में एंड व्हाट वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम दीज इवेंट्स. नाउ इफ यू रिमेंबर, एंटोनियो वाज इन जेल एंड नाउ ही इज ब्रॉट टू कोर्ट फॉर हिज ट्रायल इन वेनिस, राइट? नाउ द ड्यूक समन्स Shylock into the courtroom and tries in vain to change Shylock's mind. The Duke is also merciful, right? So he asks Shylock to provide him some mercy, right? But Shylock तो Shylock है, उसके अंदर क्या है? Vengeance, which has now been, piled up, all piled up. If you remember that when we did the character analysis, हमने try किया था, of course we did not start with character analysis now, but जितने भी acts पढ़े हैं हमने उनके character sketches के points form किए थे, right? So yes, मैंने हमने ये भी बोला था कि he is not a complete villain nor he is a complete a virtuous character. He has shades of gray. Of course he is the most popular villain, but of course he has shades of gray, and he is also a product of the circumstances. So if you remember the torture, the persecution that he had faced continuously, and Shakespeare highlights that, है ना? So now he is all piled up. All the vengeance has been piled up, and he is now the ultimate monster. A monster is the product, not he is. Nobody is born evil, right? The circumstances make us so, right? So that is what is actually, of course, happening with Shylock as well. If we try and empathize with his character, okay? Bassanio, who has arrived from Belmont, attempts to argue with Shylock and offers him 6,000 ducats. But Shylock turns, of course, because he's now not concerned with money. He is now bent on taking revenge from Antonio. That is exactly why he had signed that bloody bond, right? Because he had no purpose of snatching money or extracting money from from Antonio. He had made this plan. If you remember, when we did that plan, wo jo bond sign kar raha tha, if you remember that we did that portion where he was halting and he was trying to plan कि कहाँ से और कैसे revenge लेना है, then the plot, the plan that he had made actually revealed the evil in Shylock, right? And it also, if we contrast Shylock's character with that of Antonio, that also showcased the naivety of Antonio in that particular scene, right? Then the Duke says that he has sent messages to the learned lawyer, Dr. Belario, asking him to come and decide on the matter, right? Question for you guys: who is Dr. Belario? Okay. Next is, so please mention that in the chat box right away. Now, Nerissa enters, disguised as lawyer's clerk. So if you remember, Nerissa and Portia, they are now about to enter, right? They have been disguised now, and gives the Duke the letter from Dr. Belario. Okay? Now the Duke alludes to the fact that Belario's letter mentions a learned young lawyer named Balthazar. So Dr. वो जो Belario से letter लाई थी, Nerissa dressed as a man, that letter, you know, what did the letter read? The letter read that instead of Belario, who will come, somebody else called Balthazar, who is a very learned young lawyer. He will come. So we all know that who is that, that young man who's going to come. Of course, Portia, dressed as Balthazar, right? So disguised as Balthazar. Now Portia enters disguised as Balthazar. So who is Balthazar, guys? Very simple. I think you will be able to answer. Okay, so please do mention it in the chat box right below. Portia asks Antonio if he admits to owing Shylock money. So Portia, dressed as Balthazar, she is now, first of all, जब वो enter करती है, she asks who is the who is Shylock and who is Antonio, who is the merchant and who is the person who has signed the bond, right? So then and here we come to a sense of doubling. एक doubling का sense आता है actually when we try and analyze the characters and analyze the acts critically. So there is somehow a doubling between Antonio and Shylock somehow, ठीक है? So that doubling is highlighted when Portia also enters and asks who is Shylock and who is Antonio, ठीक है? So when Antonio says yes, Portia concludes that the Jew must be merciful, right? So Portia is asking Antonio that if he admits that he owes Shylock money, and Antonio says, yeah, yes, he owes, and then Portia says that okay, so Shylock should be merciful in that case. If that is the bond, then Shylock should be merciful in that case. Shylock rejects her request. He responds with a poignant speech. Very, very, very important speech. Okay? The quality of mercy is not strained, but is a blessing to both who provide and those who receive it. Very important speech, guys. Now, what is she saying? That if you so she is as an embodiment of Christianity, because Christianity, in Christianity, this virtue of mercy is very much worshipped, right? So that is why, and that is again a point of conflict between Christianity and the Jews, because Jews, they are money lenders. They are considered as opportunists, whereas the Christians, they oppose this money lending business and they are considered as being merciful, right? And therefore, again, Shakespeare is very cleverly bringing out the Jew in Shylock when he constantly rejects all the proposals. Okay? By saying that by saying that he will not have any mercy on Antonio, right? So, but Portia gives an elaborate speech, a poignant speech on the quality of mercy, saying that it is a blessing to both who is providing, who is giving mercy. That means if you provide mercy, you are also blessed, and to those who are receiving it. That means the person who is going to receive your mercy, he is also equally blessed, right? So mercy is very, very, very important quality. It's very important, right? Shylock brushes aside, reiterating his demands for justice. So first of all, Shylock also says that, Shylock in this podium also says that I will not be merciful. I can do whatever I want. Why? Because when the Christians, again there is a point of conflict between Christian and Jews. When the Christians, you people make slaves, then you don't have mercy. So why should I have, right? So that is also very, very important. The you know the a counter argument placed by Shylock. Then Portia declares that the law shall not be broken. The decrees of Venice must stand, right? Shylock joyfully extols Portia's wisdom and gives her the bond for inspection. So Portia, now the character of Portia is revealed in this act fully. So she is not just a decorative woman. She is a woman, and she is very, very, very clever and witty. Course, she's beautiful, but at the same time, she's very clever, she's very witty, and her wit is manifested the most in the last act. This act. Okay, so now Shylock also says another thing, that okay, he is very overjoyed when he hears that when he hears Portia saying that the law will not be broken, and the decrees of Venice must stand. And then she orders Shylock to have a surgeon on hand, right? To prevent, okay, first of all, before this, Shylock also says another thing which I will tell you. Shylock says this line, which is very, very, very important, okay? That is, a Daniel comes to judgment, okay? A Daniel comes to judgment, yea, a Daniel. That is very, very, very important. So, why, now there is a biblical reference over here, right? Daniel was the biblical judge of Susanna. Now, who is Susanna? Who was accused? She was a woman who was accused of infidelity by the elders. And Daniel, Daniel, rules in favor of Susanna, and therefore he rescues Susanna, right, and proves the elders as the guilty, right. So Daniel is the judgment, the wisdom of Daniel is compared to Portia, with Portia, right over here. And at the end, what happens is she orders Shylock to have a surgeon to prevent the merchant from bleeding to death. But Shylock refuses because the bond stipulates no such safeguard, right? Shylock is on the verge of cutting into Antonio, and here Shylock becomes a complete villain. So he is on the verge of cutting into Antonio. So now this is the point where the play reaches its height. That is the climax. If you remember, I told you about the Gustak Pretax pyramid, right? Where climax is the peak, which is at the top of the pyramid, right? And here the play reaches its climax. And Portia at this point suddenly reminds him that the bond stipulates upon the flesh only and makes no allowance for blood, right? So, what did Portia remind Shylock? What did Portia remind Shylock of? Please do mention that in the chat box. Right? So, next is the major events. Again, then what happened? She urges Shylock to continue collecting his pound of flesh, but reminds him that if a drop of blood is spilled, then he will be guilty of conspiring against the life of a Venetian citizen, and all his lands and all his goods would be confiscated by the state. Here you can understand the wit of the intelligence of Portia. Then nobody could safeguard Antonio, but here she is very well, using her wit, using her intelligence to save Antonio from being, from the hands of Shylock. Now Shylock is stunned and he hastily backpedals, agreeing to accept. So initially, when Portia had, asked Shylock whether you accept three times the sum, if you remember, Shylock had completely refused, that he doesn't want anything now. He wants only and only revenge. But now, when she reminds him that if you if you have a drop of blood, if you have a drop of blood from his out of his body, if you take that, then you will be punished. So then Shylock, he is now, shocked, and out of his shock, out of his anxiety, he now agrees to accept the threesome. But Portia now says that no, once you have publicly refused not to have the threesome, three times the sum, now you cannot change your verdict. Now you have to have the pound of flesh without having a drop of blood or absolutely nothing. Right, guys? So next is when Shylock finds out that he cannot even take the original 3 ducats in place of the pound of flesh, he drops the case. But Portia stops him. She says that no. She reminds him of the penalty that non-citizens face when they threaten the life of a Venetian. In such a case, Portia says that half of Shylock's property would go to the state, while the other half would go to the offended party, namely Antonio. And Portia orders Shylock to beg for the Duke's mercy. So, initially, if you remember, who was begging for mercy? Antonio was begging for mercy. The Duke was trying to convince Shylock to have mercy on Antonio. Even Portia initially tried her best to, she gave him a chance to have, first of all, 3 times the money. So she tried to, because because Jews are money lenders, right? So they have this affinity towards money. So she thought that maybe, okay, so let's try and make him take the money. But he refused because now he only and only wanted vengeance. Because remember what all was there in his back. Okay, first Shylock's continuous insult, the persecution that he had faced. Second, the elopement of his daughter Jessica with the Christian Lorenzo, and then his money and his jewels being stolen. So all these things have piled up, had already mounted up in his mind. So he wanted nothing except revenge, because Antonio, according to him, was the embodiment of all the Christian. He had taken him as the embodiment of Christianity, against which he was, because he had faced so much of persecution, and that is what it was. Right now, Portia orders Shylock to beg for Duke's mercy. The Duke declares that he will show mercy. Again, very subtly, Shakespeare is pointing out that Shylock was a typical embodiment of a Jew, was not having the virtue of mercy. However, the Duke, being the embodiment of Christianity, fulfills that quality of being merciful, right? So he spares Shylock's life and demands only a fine rather than half of the Jew's estate, right? Antonio offers to return his share of Shylock's estate on the condition that Shylock converts to Christianity. Very, very, very important. Again, the tussle of Christian and Jews. and bequeaths all his goods to Jessica and Lorenzo upon death. Shylock consents, so having no other option left, he consents and departs, simply saying, I am not well. So now, so this conversion, again, this conversion of Shylock into Christianity can be debated and can be questioned, right? So why is the need of converting a man from one religion to the other, right? So that could be debated again. On what condition Antonio agreed to give back his share to Shylock? Please do answer this question at the end of the session, guys. I mean, not at the end of the session, right now in the chat box. Okay, so next is the Duke tells Antonio to reward the young law clerk because it was he who had saved Antonio's life. So Bassanio thanks Portia and offers her some money, right? But Portia declines. And then, even after requesting so many times, what did she do? Again, she is playing a prank on Bassanio. So she is asking for that ring which Portia had given Bassanio. And if you remember, I had also explained the significance of that ring, right, in the previous act. So that was a check on the fidelity, right? If you remember. So now she's asking very cleverly for that ring. So what did Portia ask Bassanio as a gift? Very simple, guys. Do mention in the chat box. Bassanio says that the ring is a trifle. So of course he doesn't want to part away. Again, he loves his wife. So definitely he's not willing to part away from that trifle, and he cannot dishonor, but at the same time, he cannot dishonor the judge by giving him such a lowly gift. So that was just a mere excuse that he was showing in order to not part away with the gift. But Portia remains firm because she is again showing her, she's playing with Bassanio here, right? When Bassanio admits that the ring was a gift from his wife who had made, so finally he admits, okay? Portia claims that no, you are making an excuse, right? And used by many men to hold on. So she's saying that this is one of the excuses that many people use, many men use because they do not want to lose their possession. Okay. So who gave the ring to Bassanio? Very simple. Right. So then Antonio urges Bassanio to let the law clerk have the ring. Right. Now Antonio is saying, so let it be, let him have the ring. Bassanio gives in and sends Gratiano to run after Portia and present her with the ring. Antonio and Bassanio then leave for Antonio's house to plan their trip to Belmont, and then Portia sends Nerissa to Shylock's house to ensure that Shylock signs the deed. This is Act 2. This is beginning of the Act 2, and then will leave his fortune to Lorenzo and Jessica according to the decision made in the court. Nerissa too plays the same trick on Gratiano, right? Once they can complete this task, the disguised women, now they plan to leave for Belmont. So that was all for Act 4. And Act 4 is very important because it is the trial scene, okay? And we will pick up the next act from this point, critically analyze Portia's scene. The quality of speech, the quality of mercy is not strained. Very, very, very important, as I told you, obviously. So let me see what answers you have for this question. I would really love to read all your answers. So don't forget to put forth your comments, to drop your comments in the comment section, and do not forget to hit the like button, guys. Okay, so before moving ahead, before calling it off a day, बच्चा लोग जाने से पहले choose your grade. Please don't forget to subscribe to Vedantu because that is your one-stop solution for all your needs. So बच्चा लोग, choose your grade, choose your board, check out the details and click on get subscription. Get subscription पे click करो. And finally you have 3 types of subscription. As I told you, 3 दरवाजे हैं आपके पास, right? एंड आपको कौन सा सिलेक्ट करना है, जो भी आपका मन करे वैसे आप सिलेक्ट कर सकते हो, बट दरवाजा नंबर 3 जो है वो आपका जैकपॉट है. ओके, सो what you need to do is just visit vdnt.in/ytpro और आप कूपन कोड यूज करो SWRPRO. So thank you so much for watching. Please do hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. And yes, do drop down your comments and about the homework question. You can reach me out at any time you want. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. See you again in the next session. Looking forward to see you in Vedantu classes as well. Okay, so bye bye.